Well, hi. Hi, my name's Ivy. I'm interviewing you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
That's good. We don't really have to go into all this small talk. So how about I just jump straight into the questions?
Sounds good.
Okay. Um, so what responsibilities does being superintendent come with?
Well, um, you are managing a large group of people
Mhm.
all day long. There's projects, there is programming, there's following legislation, um, managing programming, and gaining a lot of input from our educators in making decisions, and our parents, and our families, and our students, of course.
Right. Oh, that sounds kind of stressful managing so many people. How did you come to be superintendent?
I think by default, in some ways.
Mhm.
So I aspired to work in special education, which I did. And when Griffith decided to leave the cooperative, I had the opportunity to develop and implement our own special ed program, which I did as special education director. At some point, I became the assistant superintendent, and when our previous superintendent left, I took over that role at that time.
Okay. Nice.
Wasn't in the plan.
So it just like kind of fell into your lap
Kind of fell into
almost.
my lap.
Well, that's really nice. What experiences as being superintendent have they given you?
It's given me an opportunity to see things a little bit differently. At Griffith, we are able to kind of do it our way, is our hashtag, doing it our way. Looking at the whole child, looking at working with the students in front of us rather than teaching to a state mandated test. Um,
Right,
so I think that makes us a little unique in that way.
right. Is there any positive experiences that stand out specifically?
Oh, I've had a lot of positive experiences. I think with designing and developing and creating programming and opportunities for our students has been awesome. So it started with one playground at Wadsworth Elementary and being
Mhm.
able to be on that team and, make a playground that is conducive to play and imagination and music and incorporating all of that. We just finished an addition. We've had our addition on Wadsworth for a year. That's our K2 building, and it's full of color and, of course, the indoor slide from the second floor to the first floor, and everything was designed and implemented with children in mind and having that happy imaginary play.
Mhm.
We're getting ready to do an aquatic center and a two-story indoor athletic facility. So that's been awesome. Developing programs that best serve our kids has been awesome.
That's really awesome. How has being a formal special ed teacher impacted you in all of these experiences that you've had?
So I think every administrator would agree that special education and your knowledge of Indiana Article 7 and the law is very important to the whole. Like many other communities, our special education programming and population is growing. So it's important to understand all students. What you use, interventions that you use for special education can positively impact every student.
Mhm.
So I think when you learn that and understand that, you can do better for every child. And so at Griffith, we practice a very inclusive model,
Mhm.
and it gives it an opportunity for all students to see that the diversity is what makes us special, right? I mean,
Mhm.
they're able to learn with students that learn differently from them. The same could be said with special ed to high ability. So
Right.
I think it's really about learning that not everybody fits inside the square box.
Right. That's that's yeah, cool. So what changes have you made as superintendent?
So some of the things that I've been pushing is less technology, where I see technology as an awesome tool that we can utilize and teach our students. I think it's important that we step away from it a bit and make sure that we're growing and mentoring kids to have human interaction and engagement and how important those soft skills are.
Mhm.
So I'm not a huge fan of pushing a lot of technology. I'd
Mhm.
like I like to see more group work. Um, I love seeing teachers develop their own plans and get away from the idea of turning the page with curriculum. And teaching is an art. So every teacher does it differently. If we're teaching about money, break out the cash register for kids. That's great. Play store. It doesn't have to be so curriculum heavy. I mean, there's opportunities to learn just very naturally in an environment where everybody is engaging.
Right. Very like takes a village to raise a child, you know.
Absolutely.
So, what are some changes that you'd like to see into the future that kind of tie in?
Continuing to move away from so much technology and continuing to foster natural learning environments.
Right.
I always encourage our teachers to go outside as much as possible, right? Get in the sun, get some fresh air, encouraging kids to get out of their seats, to go to the board, do things, engage, laugh, have fun, have a good time. I think that's what's important, is making those memories with students. I think that's what's lasting for them.
Right.
Continuing to build and create programs that support our students. I think Griffith is really unique because we're small enough to know all of our students, but
Right.
big enough to have a plethora of opportunities.
Cool. I know you're talking about how everything at Griffith is like do things your way, but what do you like really makes Griffith stand out to you?
I've always said that Griffith, as a community, it's full of pride and tradition, and I think the community, the people in our community, make it unique. We support one another. Our community has been very supportive of our schools. Your schools should be the heartbeat of the community, and I think in Griffith, they truly are.
Cool. So what plans are there for updating school buildings?
So, like I mentioned, we have the aquatic center. We had a pool that was very old, and our swim team deserves to have their own pool. We've been very fortunate that Lake Ridge Schools has been borrowing us their pool for a couple years, so shout out to them for that. So we'll have an aquatic center which our community can use, our families can use for water safety, our swim team can use. So we're excited. You could rent it. We'll have a play area inside it. We have a 2-story indoor athletic facility coming where all sports can come together. So the days of it's raining, practice is canceled, that'll be gone because we'll have additional space.
That's really good. So like the pool's going to be open for the whole community, basically.
Correct.
Of Griffith?
Correct. So our goal is to make sure that every child in Griffith knows how to swim. It is the number 2 death in children under 12 drowning. So I care and have a lot of passion for that mission. Also, our community wants a body of water, and so what better thing to do than have a family swim night where you can watch movies in the pool and you can take swim lessons, mommy and me or daddy and me. And then our swim team, of course, will have it, and they're very competitive, great students, and they deserve to have their own pool.
Right. They're not going to be like traveling around everywhere to get to their pool. So what outreach programs would you like to see in the future?
I'd like to continue to see mentorship programs for our students. I think we need to have more male role models. I think we're a little dominated with female mentorship programs. So we do have partnerships. I would like to continue those for mental health, continue those for those kids that are struggling with behaviors and having that mentorship. But I'd like to see more male role models and mentorship as we move forward.
Right. What are some of your favorite things to see in a classroom?
My favorite things to see, I love to see kids creating and problem solving. Something as simple as, during a free time opportunity that an iPad's not an option. Instead, they're doing puzzles. They are creating things, building things, trial and error. I love seeing kids make mistakes and find out where they went wrong, because I think that's a big part of just growing.
That's awesome. We're kind of running out of time a little bit, it seems. We're having some good conversation flowing. Just as, a quick last question. No, apparently no last question. Thank you so much for coming and allowing this interview.
Thank you for having me.
You've been a wonderful host.
Thank you.
Not host, but guest.
Thank you.